Hello everyone, my name is Michael. I love sketching and I've been doing this for over 15 years. And today we're at Asia Society and I would just like to take this time to draw with all of you and to show you guys some techniques on how to do some simple sketching. First of all, we would like to pick this corner in Asia Society, which has a very, very beautiful one-point perspective. As you can see, we can see the columns on the left-hand side and the windows and the doors on the right-hand side. And on top of which, we see the very nice trusses and the roof structure. And so it leads to the finishing point in the middle. So let's begin on sketching this corner. So we'll start by looking at the space and to analyze the space using our eyes is a great way to see the space and the architecture and the environment around us. So it's something that you need to have a quiet heart and a quiet mind to do so. And hence I'm sitting right here. And first of all, we'll look at the space and to analyze the proportions. We also see the very nice columns on the left-hand side and the very nice windows and the doors on the right-hand side. So let's begin. So for this space in particular, we see all these imaginary lines focusing at the end on the horizon line, which is at the end at where the door is. So we'll start by using a pencil that will help, or later on, when we're getting better at this, we don't need to have the pencil to do the guidelines. But this time, we'll try to start with doing these imaginary guidelines first using a pencil. So we'll start with the door at the end of the corridor. So this is the horizon line that we're imagining at the end of the door, at the end of the corridor. And then we start to fill this with the walls and the columns. See, this is imaginary horizon line that we're looking at. And this is what we call the finishing point at the end. And so this is what we call a one-point perspective. So we're now in the middle of the corridor, looking at the end of the corridor. And hence we see all these lines converging from the finishing point. And these are the perspective lines that we're working with. Later on, these guidelines are going to help us in creating our sketch. So as you can see, all these lines, they're like sunlight radiating out from the vanishing point. This is what we call a one-point perspective. And now off to the wall on the right-hand side, we see some windows. So we'll mark some guidelines for ourselves to help us later on when we sketch. And also we see on the right-hand side, there are some lights protruding out from the wall. So we'll mark some locations for those as well. So with a guidelines pencil sketch almost finished, then we can start using the marker pen to trace over some of it. And of course, a lot of these guidelines are only for reference only. So later on, we'll make adjustment as we go along. So let's begin from the middle, and then we'll go towards the periphery, and let's begin. So I guess it's almost there. So now what we need to do is to fill in more details and to add in some shadows for the sketch. That I usually use a thicker marker pen or the 0.8 marker liner. At this time of the day, you see the sun is shining from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. So then you will start to seeing these faces will look a bit darker than the rest. And these columns, they will start to make shadows on the ground in this direction. So we're going to do a very light layer of shadows, just not to overpower the sketch. Final little touch that is always good to have a little signature at the bottom, at the corner of the sketch. And voila, there you go. So here's the sketch of the corridor, the veranda corridor that we're seeing right here. So here we are. So this is our first sketch. The fun part about doing sketches is that, if you have more time, you can do a little bit more detail on your sketching, and you have less time, then you could do a quicker sketch. It's always okay, and it's always fun.